guys, and thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Journey Podcast, where I am your host, Kiera. It's always good to hang out with you guys. Oh, happy Thursday. I hope that you guys are having the most amazing week ever, ever, ever. My week is going good. Thank you guys for asking. um, let's go ahead and just get on into today's episode. Last week we were talking about alignment and how important it is to operate in alignment and just be on the path um, to being who God called you to be. And that was good. I really, really, really like that. I just kind of wanted to um, I guess not really like add on to it, but just to kind of like follow up and close up any loose ends. Um, Regarding alignment, I did take some notes for this episode, so I'm excited about that. I like when I take notes because I feel like I'm like prepared. Sometimes I'll come on and I'll just be like, let me talk to you for a minute. Come here, I'm coming around. um but today I just wanted to like I said, close up any like loose ends um regarding operating in alignment. um some of the biggest factors of that when you because alignment isn't just about knowing what you want, it's about trusting the voice inside of you that tells you what's right. And even when it's inconvenient to do it, and it's just like, wow, how do I know that things are in alignment? And so the first thing that we said was that like it just flows. It's just, it just is smooth. And so a part of like making decisions, a thing that I really struggled with, and I just really thought that I was like overly intuitive. Um, it's either like, how do I know that this is me using discernment versus me overthinking? And so I just kind of wanted to touch base on that and just kind of talk about discernment versus overthinking. And so, like in alignment, like I said, everything flows, everything's easy, everything's pretty much seamless. And so, um, and it feels so right. And so, discernment, in discernment, there's no fight. There's no, um, there's no battle in discernment. It's just that voice inside of you saying, yes, this is it, or no, this isn't it. Um, just kind of, it's just plain, you operate, you just using your discernment. And how do you sharpen your discernment? um Trust God, trust God and trust that voice inside of you. um Discernment doesn't argue with you. It's just simply like it informs you, hey, no, that's not what it is, and you feel it in the inside of you. While overthinking, I'd like to compare that more so to a battle. When you're overthinking, you're thinking, oh well, what if this, and what if that, and what if this. And again, discernment is just straight to the point. It's seamless, it's easy. Like I said, it doesn't argue with you. While overthinking is like the two people on your shoulder, one person saying yeah, another person saying no, one person saying this is a red flag, the other person saying no. And it's just like um and so it's like sometimes you'll feel it, you'll feel like something isn't right. And it's like you just can't quite put your finger on it. But then you talk yourself out of it. And so discernment doesn't operate like that. It's just like, this is it. So, or maybe like sometimes you have to convince yourself, in overthinking, you have to convince yourself that something was right, because you were scared of letting go of it, or you're trying to convince yourself like, okay, let's say it like, um, in terms of a job. So here you are, you're like, you know what, this job isn't so bad. Like you're trying to convince yourself that this job isn't bad. Um, when you know, like it's just you've outgrown the environment. Um, or these friends aren't so bad. Maybe sometimes they make me feel uncomfortable, and you just got to think so hard about, no. Discernment is, you know what? These people aren't for you. This place is not for you. This is the place for you. This is where you're supposed to be. You feel it in your heart. And so, discernment, and I don't want you guys just to think about it in like in your career. Think about it in all aspects of your life. Where are you overthinking? Where are you confused as far as like, what is this me? Is this relationship, this new relationship, is this a red flag? Are these red flags? Is this just me clinging to something because because I just want to say that I have something? Um what's it to you? I like to say that. I like to say what's it to you. But again, discernment is calm, it's quiet, it's direct, and it's clear. Even when it's uncomfortable, it's just straight to the point. Um and like I said again, discernment doesn't argue with you. I like that I wrote that down because I was really like, when you are in survival mode, um and you are trying to come out of survival mode, it's hard to identify um the difference in the two. It's hard to identify, like, am I making poor financial decisions when I've been in survival mode for so long. And it's like, okay, I know I've been robbing Peter, Paul, Paulette, and Pauline, and so I'm not sure if I'm overthinking this financial decision, um or if I'm, if I'm, or this is my discernment just kicking in and saying, hey, this is a good opportunity. Maybe we can use it in like buying a car. You know how we have that buyer's remorse after we buy a new car, like, dang man, I just used all this money for this car and I shouldn't have. And so and so let's go discernment versus overthinking when it comes to that. And so here you are. Maybe you have a car. You have a car, and y'all, my hair is just doing its own thing today. It's just like in the head, okay? um, and so here you are. You would like to get a new car. But let's use me for instance. I have a car. My car is paid for. I've had my car for almost 5 years now, and I just want a new car just because, while there is somebody else that maybe they're having car trouble, just habitual car trouble or whatever the case may be, and it may be a better financial decision for them to purchase a car. And so discernment kicks in for them, and it says, you know what, the money that you're spending on auto repairs, you could just buy a new car. Maybe your car is paid for, but you're having to keep on putting out money to have it fixed or whatever the case may be. And this is a good one because this is actually like a real life situation. So I know someone that has a car and has car trouble, and then they have to spend money on getting their car fixed. So the money that they've spent, they could have already just bought a new car. Maybe put something down on a car, or something of that nature, or put some money aside to save up for a car payment if they're going through their financial institution to get a car and don't have to do a down payment. And so, they discernment might be telling them, um, go ahead and make that call. Go ahead and do that. I know you probably haven't had these car payments for however long, um, and you don't, I mean, you're fully capable of taking on this new monthly bill. And so discernment is telling them, go ahead and do it, while overthinking is, well, maybe I can do this, or how this. I feel like overthinking is like a finesse. Like, you're trying to finesse yourself into thinking something that might not be true. And you know what? I think for a long time I have struggled with overthinking. and my mom has told me be careful with my words. I am not an overthinker anymore. But I used to be an overthinker, and that is something that I am continuously working on, because I will overthink myself out of anything, okay? And so, overthinking is so loud, it's so repetitive, it's fear based, it's rooted in what ifs, and so here you are, you're overthinking because sometimes maybe we overthink. I guess let me speak for myself. I like to speak for myself, because that who better than to speak from than myself, and so um overthinking. I like to say it, I can say that it's fear based because I have spent such a long period of my life in survival mode that with my kids that I had to overthink. Overthinking kind of saved me in some things. So it's like, okay, I know that I might overthink myself. I can overthink myself out of an opportunity sometimes. And it's just out of fear of failure, out of fear of losing out on something, losing something. Um, and sometimes it's like, okay, I'm telling myself, what if I'm being dramatic? What if I regret this? Um, what if I regret this decision? What if I, like it just was hard. And so overthinking, like I said, kept me safe. And it kept me in my mind, it kept me safe. Because like I said, I was in survival mode for so long. It was like, okay, that's what I know how to do. That's how I know for sure that that I can control the narrative of this situation, or this or I can control what the outcome is to the best of my ability. So um when I started operating in discernment, I started utilizing my discernment. I felt grounded. I felt more like it wasn't chaos in the decision making. It was like, you know what? No. I pray about it first, and then I say, you know what, God, give me the mind to make a sound decision. And so I can honestly say that, like I said, I felt grounded, and discernment feels sound. It feels safe. It feels okay. It's not. It doesn't rush you. Um, it's just that, you know. And so overthinking creates anxiety, and I feel like my anxiety would be through the roof when I would overthink, but I would come to a point where I got just uh, like I can't really explain the feeling, but it's like an adrenaline rush, and it wasn't a good feeling. Um, but out of fear, I was overthinking. Oh, is this a red flag or that red flag? Is this too good to be true? That was my favorite thing to think. Like, if it's too good to be true, then it's not true. And I lived by that for so many years. And it was like, no, I deserve good things. And that was the imposter syndrome, like we talked about in season one. Imposter syndrome made me overthink. Okay, I don't think I'm qualified for this opportunity. I don't think I'm supposed to be in this room. I don't think, like, what is this going to cost me if I make the wrong decision? Or, and so that was my thought process for a lot of it. And so alignment isn't just about knowing what you want. It's about trusting the voice inside of you, trusting God, um, and even when you think that it might be inconvenient to do so. Sometimes, like I said, our plans for ourselves aren't God's plans for us, and who better than someone that knows your beginning and your end to really just follow their lead. I know what's next for you. Just do what I'm telling you to do, and you're gonna be all right. And my thing is, for the most part, well, not for the most part. My thing is, like, I have seen what God can do. God has been so good to me. He's been so faithful. And so here I am sometimes, and I was talking to my friend about this. Sometimes I get so into my flesh that I want to, like I said, like I used to say, I wanted to control everything, that I would just kind of be like, you know what, God would put it on my heart, my mind. I would like, this is what's next for you. Do it, and I would not do it. I would not do it because I would overthink myself out of doing it, and so overthinking is just simply thinking about something too much and too hard and too long. And like I said, it's like a battle, it's like a fight. And when we do that, sometimes we overthink ourselves out of good opportunities. Sometimes we overthink ourselves out of genuine relationships, genuine uh what was I about to say? We just genuine things, period. It's like we will overthink, oh, you know what? This person is being too nice to me. Why are they being so nice to me? They must want to take something from me. They want to use me. They're out to get me. And so here you are, and you just missed out on a good opportunity, a good relationship, a good friend, um, because you're so damaged. Ooh, I stepping on toes, child. Get off them people toes, Kier. Yeah, get off them people toes. And so sometimes the fact that we've been in survival mode for so long, the fact that we've been so damaged, the fact that we're not used to nothing, ain't never had nothing. Ain't never had nothing good. Ain't never had nothing real. We don't know how to function when we don't know how to function when discernment is saying this is safe, this is okay, this is calm, this is easy because it's for you. You're operating, you're in alignment. And so here your discernment is telling you yes. And overthinking is red flag, red flag. And overthinking just makes it so hard. And like I said, guys, I am a victim of overthinking. I was a victim of overthinking. I am no longer a victim of overthinking. I am delivered. I am free from overthinking. I am not an overthinker. I'm not. But like I said, when you've been in survival mode for so long, it's kind of hard to just like tell the difference between the two. What is going on now? And so, in that, guys, I just always, everything always goes back to me journaling. When I journal and I write things down, it just gives me the opportunity to really like, wow, I'm really thinking like that, and it helps me to just be clear with my thoughts and be clear with my intentions, and then I can go back and I look at it and I'm like, wow, um, that was what was on my mind 3 months ago. Sometimes it's 2 3 days ago, you know. And so the journey definitely is one where I feel like journaling has definitely been been helpful for me. Like I said, I like to write. um a friend of mine was asking me how I feel about like vlogging, video journaling, my thoughts and my feelings or whatever the case may be. And I kind of feel like podcasting is that in a sense. What y'all think? I think so. Um because here I am. While I do have notes sometimes, I don't always have notes, and so it's not often do I do it, but sometimes I get to go back and just kind of see um what I was thinking. What was that episode about? Like what where was my mind? Do I still feel the same? Do I still have that same take on that topic? And so it's a lot of things from season 1 where I'm just like, wow. I'm just like I am growing. And so I like to document my growth, and I encourage people to do the same thing all the time, because it's so healthy. It's so good for you just to be able to see where you come from and just um, spend time just being grateful for the opportunity to just see where you came from. I was talking the other day about how I was talking to my sister, and my sister was like, "You talk so good, Kiera." She was so like, she was just praising how well I spoke on something that I sent her, and she was like, "Wow, you just talk so good. I can see you really just like." doing that being a thing for you. And so that made me feel so good because if you guys have watched season one, child was talking hard. It was hard. It's hard for me sometimes. Well, it was hard for me. Thank God for deliverance. It was hard for me to just to know that people are watching me and just be up here talking. It's like, girl, what you talking about? You talking about nothing. Ain't talking about a thing, child. But I am, and I'm talking good because my sister said so. It's all good. And so, take that time to write in your journal if you have one. If you don't have one, y'all, I find the cutest little journals at Ross and Burlington and stuff like that in their stationery section. Also, guys, coming up, I'm just drop a little few things. The Journey podcast is definitely coming up, and we are gonna have some journals very, very soon. We are working on it. The order is placed. In Jesus' name, God is good. Thank you. And that's gonna be coming soon. Be looking forward to that. Please, please, please be on the lookout for that. And they're gonna be it's not gonna be anything too crazy. Um, yeah, it's not gonna be anything too crazy. Um, yeah, it's gonna be good. Oh, it's getting good, y'all. It's getting real good. I'm getting confident, thank God. Um, and I'm just excited. I'm excited about all the things. But guys, those, especially those that have been in survival mode for so long, those that are overcoming um brokenness, those that are still battling with brokenness, take that time to identify, am I overthinking, or is this discernment? When you're decision making as you're on this journey, you're gonna have to make a lot of decisions. Some of those decisions harder than others. Whether it's a financial decision, whether it's a decision on, do I need to stay in this friend group? Do I need to stay in this relationship? Do I need to stay at this job? Um, and so forth and so on. And so, if that decision makes you feel anxious, um, like any form of anxiety where it feels so urgent or it feels like chaos, a lot of back and forth with yourself, um, and things like that, versus you feeling grounded, you feeling like a seamless decision, a decision you're not so panicky about, um, and stuff that doesn't need validation. I like that part. I like that too. Um, Sometimes we're so worried about what people will think, based off of the decision we'll make. While these decisions that we're making, we have to live with the decision that we make. Nobody else. It's directly affecting us. And so, just who want y'all? Because I don't like that. Who wants better for me than I do for myself? Like, and some people do have parents that want better for them than they want for themselves, so I can't say that really. But as for me, like I said, I like to speak for myself. um um you know who I know that I want what's best for me. And so if I got to make a 20 slide PowerPoint to convince myself that this decision if you got to do all that, just no. Pray about it. You gotta pray a little harder. If you're still at a point where you got to do all these things to convince yourself that your thought process is valid or whatever the case may be, then just no. You pray a little harder. Ask God to just a sharper give you a give you sharper discernment. That way you are able and capable of making a sound decision, as you move forward in this journey, as you try to operate in alignment, as you try to just overcome the brokenness, the hurt, the struggle. Sometimes, y'all, we've been struggling for so long. Oh, you don't even know how to not struggle. You just all still in struggle mode. I was talking to my friend. She was like, God has been so good to her, but she accidentally did something that she would have done while she was in survival mode, while she doesn't need to be in survival mode anymore, because God is just boom 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 hitting her with blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing. And she was like, out of muscle memory, out of the fact that I'm just used to doing this, I still, I'm still doing those things like I have to, and I don't even have to do that. I don't have to operate like that, but I'm still doing it because I'm just used to it. And so, she found herself repenting, asking God to forgive her for even, for it's almost like she saw it like a slap in his face, because it's like, dang, you've been so good to me. I know that you will make a way. I know you will provide, and I still moved that way. I still thought that way, and so um that was a really good moment with her, where we could just we were so grateful. We ended up laughing, uh, because we all have been there. We've all been there. We've all been trying to survive. We've all been trying to get by, trying to make a way, and so forth and so on. And so when you just get, when it gets to that, it's just like, dang. Thank God for growth. These things are documented, and so that's why I like to write it down. And I go back and I look and I'm like, wow, that's what you was at, girl. Please. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. Um, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap today's episode up. I love you guys with my whole heart. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. If you would like to reach out, and just let me know a time where, or if you would like to talk about anything, if you're like going through something where you just kind of think maybe I'm overthinking, or maybe this is discernment. I would be so happy to talk to you guys about these this verses. This is a big verses battle. Overthinking versus discernment. Which one is it? Um, Name a time where you found yourself overthinking, and you just overdunk yourself out of a decision that might have been what's best for you. Just out of like that mindset where you just wanted to play it safe. Let's talk about it. Just reach out to me on social media. My Instagram is x_KISSUM. And yeah, just reach out to me on Instagram. I'm not like savvy with messaging. I am savvy with it. I just don't check my messages on Messenger. I can do better with that, but just write me on Instagram. You'll get a faster response. I love you guys with my whole heart. Jahara has decided to join me. And so I hope that you guys are having an amazing Thursday and enjoy the rest of your week. I love you guys with my whole heart again. And yeah, let's just talk about it. I love y'all. Have a good one. And see you guys next week. Bye.